Here. I know we're good. Are we? Okay, welcome all to the August 6th meeting of the Dudley Water and Sewer Commission. I have to advise everyone that this meeting is being recorded. We start every meeting in Dudley with a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Maybe get the urge to say two.
Yeah, no. Different meeting. Okay, minutes for June 25th. Wasn't there, did we not have a meeting in July?
We had a week early because there was conference.
That's right. We did it early instead of late. So, we have a motion on the minutes.
Make a motion, Mr. Chairman,
To what?
accept the minutes of June 25th.
Okay, motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 4-0. We're gonna, I guess, delay number 4 until next month when hopefully we'll have a full board. Okay. It's been brought up that there's been a gentleman's agreement over the years for pumping of the Tanyard Road sewer station between us and Nichols College to share the cost of pumping of, what's it, pumping of grease? Or is it just pumping out
Everything grease.
everything, all the excess sludge that the pumps aren't moving? I guess it happens about 4 times a year, and the town and the commission and Nichols have been sharing the cost. And it's been brought up that we should probably have formalize the agreement, put it in writing. Evidently, years ago, someone approached, was it Bob Levine up at the college? Jen?
Yes.
Approached him, and that's the way it's just been. So I don't know if anybody does anybody have any input?
Could that number change on how many times they have to pump it? If they're getting all the I&I under control, you're not getting it kind of flushed out naturally with the rain and
That could
storms?
be possible.
So I don't know if that should be a consideration on the agreement, if you're, 'cause I think when I read the letter, it said up to 2 times or something, no more than 2 times.
Right. Because as a current, it's pumped 4 times a year.
Based on
Right, that's
4
what I mean.
times.
So if you put the wording in the agreement that it's no more than 2 times, and all of a sudden we gotta pump it 8 times because it's not naturally getting flushed out from stormwater that was washing it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, if the agreement was to split it half, then I would say that it should be half regardless of how many times it needs to be done.
Can you work with them to get something drawn up between the facilities management up there and whoever up there needs to be in on signing that?
George, to the chair. If we didn't have Nichols up there, how many times would you have to pump it a year anyways?
Maybe twice right now, but it's hard to say because some of the infiltration has been coming in from the upper part of the street too, but I'd say 2 maybe right now. But they're about half of what repump is them, especially when they get their big classes in session. They generate a lot of grease too.
I was gonna say, they're probably the biggest
Yeah.
Right.
generator of grease.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's just that station only has Center Road, Tanyard Road, the Dresser Hill, that end of Dudley Hill and Airport. What, Airport up to,
Keep going past up towards Bates area.
towards,
Yeah.
towards Bates Road. And, yeah, I mean, it's really not that big an area. There's nothing else there other than the college. The college and of course, the golf course covers a big chunk of that area too, and that's them.
Do they have grease interceptors and grease traps up there?
They must,
Or soon they're supposed to report it to the Board of Health when they have them pumped, but.
We've been checking with the school systems also from School Street, that area, because of the grease over at the thing, so.
Yeah, well, but that's not affecting Tan Yard Road.
No, I'm just saying in
No, but
general.
in general, we should probably have some kind of method to confirm that everybody that has grease traps and grease interceptors, that they're getting pumped
Yeah,
on a regularly scheduled basis. And that's probably one of our biggest problems is fats, oil, and greases in a collection system.
we're doing the schools right now, especially along with Nichols, but we're doing the schools and talking to the maintenance and Greg Duple, he's retiring, but letting him know that we have to keep checking all that stuff, so he's aware of it.
Check with the Board of Health to see if they have records and if they can send them over when they can.
Add it to some kind of checklist that.
Okay, so we don't need a motion to formalize that, just to work with folks up at Nichols to come to some sort of an agreement, put it in writing. Tie and bond correspondence. They are working on a grant for sewer engineering. That is in the process. That should be going in, I believe, by the end of September. I think it has to be in, the application for the grant. And that's for, that was for added engineering. And they had a meeting last Thursday about the Eagle Drive project. That is, I believe that's at the 70%. They're getting close to, they've got to do some, they need to do more exploration up in the neighborhood. Find the end of the line coming up off a rocky road. There's a few things out there that they still need to formalize to get it done, but I believe they need to have it done by, might be the end of October. But they do want to have it done for the October town meeting. So actually, it is September. I think that was it for.
Did you see the email that I sent out?
Oh,
today
yes,
from
and there
Heidi?
was an email came through today, that went to everybody.
Yep.
They're still pushing the punch list for GEG and the water main work. There's a couple of tasks still on there, the potential leak on the transmission main from pump 8 down to the station, down the raw water line, loses pressure. There was making sure all the gates were open and
Everything was done that way, but I don't know what the update is on that leaking thing. Brian was working on that.
Okay, yeah.
I already worked with Gil on the surveyor. He came out there and he's supposed to go back and do the actual mark because they marked it in the grass.
Right.
But I told him to call, let us know exactly when that surveyor comes back. So I'm gonna call Ella
Yes.
tomorrow and see.
property owner would like to know
Yeah.
when that happens so that they can be out there.
I'll call Ella tomorrow and find out because he's in Portugal or something, so we'll find out where that surveyor is so she can get that moving.
There's a couple of things on there. I went to the PIP meeting last week as a resident, but a resident of Circle Drive approached me and asked about the significant damage at the intersection of Circle Drive and Fairview. Both of those roads are private. It's their contention that the construction caused that damage to be worse. I told them I would look into it, but I did drive up there and take a look, and the road is a mess there, but where it's a private road, I don't know that there's anything we can do about it.
It's always been kind of a mess, whether the
That
traffic made it
intersection's always
worse, I
been a
can't
mess.
tell you. I don't-
That's where all the water comes down, when it rains, all the water comes down Circle Drive and floods that area, and so I'm not, I did mention that to Ty and Bond last Thursday as well. Or actually on Friday.
So a couple questions on the letter, the punch list. Can we check and see at what point we can go after the bond, the performance bond? I mean, this has been dragging on for quite some time, and the reason I'm looking at it this way is that your current month, you got bacteria hits from Station 8.
Well, they,
So Station 8, well 8, if you have a leak that's leaking water out, and that line depressurizes, so it's not maintaining 20 PSI at all times, which is why I think you're getting slugs hitting the treatment plant. So when that pressure drops, if it's draining back, it's sucking stuff in from the ground. So it could very well be a point of contamination into the system.
yeah, that could be one, but the other thing is that well, one of the wells, I think 3, is located in the area by the vernal pond over there, and it's susceptible to some.
Yeah, I get that.
When it gets
but-
droughty, it becomes an issue a little bit, but when it gets water,
But
we seem to
they're
get
new
through.
wells with properly sealed and driven into the bedrock, correct? Or, so
You would think so.
if they were installed correctly, then that shouldn't affect it as much, but my concern is, I mean, we're looking at how many millions of dollars to upgrade for the people on Bates Road because of their pressure. And the whole theory behind it is if you're dropping below 20 PSI, it has a potential for cross-connection and
Right.
getting contamination from the ground. We're definitely dropping below 20 PSI because the pipe drains. So if there's a leak in that line, you know, that's putting public safety at risk by having an ongoing cross-contamination issue. So if they're not gonna react quickly and fix these things, I mean, this has been months and months that we've talked about this leak on that pipe.
If Brian's in tomorrow, we'll talk to him and find out what's going on with that. He was kind of spearheading that.
But I mean, I just read the system, the superintendent's report, and that was the first thing on there was 3 hits and 1 being Station 8. I know the resident's been complaining forever about the marker.
Marker, yes. Okay, I don't think anybody's, everybody's pushing to get this punch list completed. It's just, I don't know, I don't understand how they can drag on so long.
So I mean, there's gotta be some kind of time frame in which they have to be held accountable for.
Okay. All right, anything else on the engineering?
The engineering, you brought up that they gave a proposal to do, or they're going after funding for sewer work?
Sewer, yes, it was a, there's a grant, I guess it's a
I&I.
grant program for I&I.
Also for additional I&I work?
Look, yeah, additional I&I work.
We've identified all the areas that we have to still look into, and now we have to wait to see if we get some money for that, but we made great strides up there. And the latest is from Paul, is basically to start looking at throwing some flow meters over at the 10-yard, to check out the flows coming down from Nichols, to see if everything is offset now, and then you can go to DEP and say, hey, we've already done this. So it's like the first stage of it. So we're making progress. The others is just down here. We can't get access to the riverside right now. Maybe in the winter we can, but I've tried drone, I've tried getting over the banking. It's just too much debris and stuff, and the thing rides right by the river, so if it gets up high, it gets into the manholes over there. But we want to do some cameraing and maybe get a probe camera in there to see if they can detect where those manholes that we can't find are, so we can find them and see what's going on with them, because we can't visually see them.
And with them doing more proposals, and, you know, we had brought another company in for engineering. I don't know if we wanna have a few more come in and give presentations, as to additional people to either do peer review or design itself. I'm even more concerned looking at I see they're still recommending not to connect through the Gentex for the PFAS for the Eden Drive project.
That's correct.
And any engineering firm that's doing water design that says that, oh no, it's not necessary to have that loop, is out of their mind. That if you don't take advantage of the opportunity to create a loop, you know, that's just insane. And for them to say that, oh, there's enough customers to get the water turnover that you need to keep it from having a problem, unless they're willing to put it in writing that they guarantee there'll be no water quality issues over there, I disagree with them. And I'll guarantee they won't put that in writing. Because once it's done, they wash their hands of it, but we're stuck with it. I disagree with that. I think that they're doing what they're asked by their client, which is not us. And our role is to look out for the best interest of the water and sewer users. I just think we would be doing our customers a disservice not to look at another engineering firm to at least either do peer review or the engineering itself for some of this stuff.
I agree.
With not being able to get peer review through the planning board, they're the gatekeepers to get it through the generally accepted process. I think it would be foolish for us not to explore some sort of peer review for any kind of engineered design, just to be sure things are done. We've got a couple of projects coming down the pipe that are going to be, one being the Eagle Drive project. It might be a good time to start now. I'm not sure, we probably should get someone else. We've got one, if we could get, maybe one more engineering firm or two more engineering firms to come in and give us
I'll call it a dog and pony show.
dog and pony show to, okay, to what they offer, and then get some proposals. There's some, how much, what's your rate for doing this, so that we can, and we probably should get it done, get it going soon.
Just looking at the issues that we've had on some of these other projects, we should also look at determining who we want to do resident engineer inspections on any of these projects moving forward. I mean, the first leg of the project on the last one, we had the compaction obviously wasn't correct after the first rainstorm, after they paved it and then had a rainstorm, and it sunk 1.5 feet. Resident that's complaining about the property marker, or the monument or whatever it is that hasn't been replaced. I mean, he came out with pictures immediately. So we asked who was the resident engineer, why weren't they checking compaction and everything else? And they said, oh, we subbed it out for a WBE. I mean, out of all the things to sub out, I don't think resident engineering is the one that you want to sub out. They're there to protect us and make sure that things are being installed and the work's being done per design and per AWWA standards and industry standards. So to not have any of that done, I mean, they missed the location on the sewer manhole. They said, oh, they ran the whole roll of pipe out and they didn't want to put a seam, so they put the manhole where it ended. And it ended up further than it was supposed to be, so that didn't make any sense. If they came up short, I would understand, but you know, if the resident engineer didn't know how to read the plan and see that they had started a whole manhole beyond where the project started as their station 00. I lose my confidence in their ability to do resident inspection. You know, if they're missing simple things like that. I just think there was a whole lot of things that we had to keep having meetings over as to why things weren't done the correct way. So,
Okay, so we had, was that with Stantec, are there other firms in the,
that was a dozen firms. I'm sure you know a
Yeah,
dozen.
there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, we can ask around. There's different levels too. I mean, Chris McClure's right in Charlton, he does engineering. He's not as big as these other companies, so, you know, he could, if there's smaller projects or something like that, you know, we could look at him to try to save some money, or, there's a bunch of other bigger ones, some I don't care for, but, there's plenty of them out there.
okay, so
Probably do that.
we should do that soon. To be honest, I think getting an unbiased set of eyes on the Eagle Drive plans once they're done.
I want it biased, I want it looking out for our interests.
Well, I mean, to make sure that it's correct. Yeah, that right now there's a little bit of a conflict there.
If you send me some names, I'll invite them to the next meeting. You know,
Do we want to try to set something up? I know the plan is to get that all done so that they have something to bring to town meeting in October. So I believe they want to have, they want to have, informational meetings with town residents mid-September, I believe. I think that's what they said, after Labor Day, to give them a month or so, a good solid month before town meeting to absorb and come up with questions and get answers. So I believe that's the plan at the moment. So if, you know, once those plans come down, if you want to send them off to someone, we need to get someone in. If we
Yeah, I mean,
need-
I quickly just went through these, the water asset management, the draft plan that we just have. So I mean, I know that they're looking at it and they're trying to tell the engineers to keep the cost down on this project. But, you know, looking at these numbers, just on the water side alone, we got $27.72 million worth of recommended upgrades that they're saying we need to do on the water side. And I'm sure that's only the low-hanging fruit that they found, and there's a lot more than that, so. We don't wanna add to additional funds that we're gonna have to do to upgrade what they put in to make it, you know, correct for our system.
We wanna wait till our next meeting to have somebody come in, or should we do it beforehand? Because then we're talking,
Yeah, that's what that was my point.
yeah.
Well, I don't care, I mean, I don't know how quick some of these engineering firms can put something together, but. But, yeah, we can make some calls and see who will come in.
You know, if they can come in 2 or 3 weeks, we'll schedule a meeting.
okay.
Can you work with Jen with some ideas? If you have some
Yeah, I got a
ideas
couple
of
of guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
engineering firms.
Do you want them, like, if we get a couple different ones that respond all at the same meeting? Do you have a preference? Do you
Doesn't matter to me if we can get them
Perfect.
all here on the same day or
You might as well,
whatever.
that would just be a meeting for that particular, and that's it. Okay.
Oh, we can have a joust for services.
They all know each other, they've all.
Yeah, they've all.
Half of them work for the other companies already.
I'm sure they've been, they've worked together and against each other right along, so. Okay, so yes, so work whatever you can.
Thank you.
Work whatever you can, whenever we can to get this. Good. Anything else on engineering services? Okay, shut-off policy. Jen?
So just an update, we started in May, we had 123 accounts that were over 90 days past due. After we sent out the first notice, on our second notice, we were down to 76 shut-offs. And then by the third notice, we had 8 accounts that were shut off, and then all paid within 24 hours to be turned back on. In a matter of 2 months, we collected $171,730,000
Outstanding.
and 1 penny.
That's over, that's the,
That's all
The
90
overdue
days,
stuff.
all 90 days past due.
Collected it all?
Majority of it. We do have a couple accounts that were set up, like they're making $100 payments every week or $500 payment every month.
You take that back, they've
Yes.
contacted every one of them.
Every one of them, and the ones that didn't pay in full have set up a very
an aggressive payment plan.
correct. And I check on those payment plans, and they know that if they miss one payment, they'll be shut off. That was the agreement, that if you go into a plan, you have to maintain it. If you don't, you'll be shut off. If you run into a problem, call me and tell me, like, okay, I can't make it this week, but I'll make it by Tuesday of next week, so that I don't get my, and so far, we have not had to send anybody out to shut off anyone else. And the demands were just sent out, and the due date was Tuesday. So I've got a new report ready to go, and the letters will go out next week for the next round of 90 days overdue. So I think it's worked. I think
It's effective.
I think it was.
Do we know how much we have over 90 days?
I don't have an exact number because I have to go through some of the accounts.
Ballpark?
No.
No?
Not
Okay.
even. No, but it's still a good chunk because this is only our second time doing it, and so now we're hitting different people.
Yeah.
And some of them are the same people, but they'll learn. You know, and a lot of people were surprised that, oh, you mean you don't just lien it to your real estate? That's not normal process? I'm like, no. This is just what they thought was normal, that they didn't have to pay it.
Well, if you're allowed to do it,
Right.
then it's normal.
Right, and I said it's just not being done that way anymore, and so, yeah, and I will say that I did not have one person call upset. I had some people. Well, yeah, I've had some people call and question different things, but once we had a good conversation, you know, nobody was screaming at me, nobody was yelling at me, you know, so,
Like I said, it's effective, and,
yeah.
you know, all the concern about shutting all these people off, you had 123, you had to shut off 8. I think percentage-wise, it's a pretty good,
Yeah,
collection effort before you get to that point.
absolutely, and, you know, the ones that were shut off were like, no, I know, I'm sorry, you know, and like I said, I think we had 8, and I think the first afternoon, I probably had 4 of them back on, and then the following day, the next 4 were back on. They had come in, and I made sure that they went downstairs, paid it, and then they had to come up and show me the receipt that they paid it, so.
I was just thinking that, you know, it was against, you know, the person that wouldn't give us the information was against doing it, but yet they'll send the excise tax to the collector, and then they shut you off at the registry, and you can't renew your license or
Right.
registration. He doesn't have a problem with that, but.
So, and I worked a lot with the collector, the assistant collector on this, so, and she was very good about sending them up when they paid to show me proof.
Yeah.
Just so that if not, I would wait till I could see it, I would check in the account, because we weren't doing anything without proof.
Well, I think she's getting tougher than you with,
I don't know.
It's like, sorry, it's the rules.
Yeah.
And you know, when they're like, oh, I need a little more time, I'm like, you've had 4 months plus an additional 2 months.
Yeah.
You've had 6 months, and you haven't even made a good effort payment. I'm like, just show us good faith, show us some effort.
That's
So,
the key, as long as they're showing good faith.
Yeah, we can work with anybody.
that's what I said, keep the account active, show me payments. I said, some of these accounts didn't have a payment for years because they had been liened.
Right.
So, yeah.
Oh, and with any luck, this will eliminate the need to lien anything.
Hopefully.
And,
Like I said, the only things.
it'll make his job easier.
The only
if you
things
want
that
to
I
leave.
have, we have a couple abandoned houses where the mail comes back and there's nothing. So those I know they're not gonna be paid. They're shut off at the street already. So those will get liened eventually, but that's beyond our control because I have no contact. I have a couple bank-owned properties that I know on the sale, they're not paying the water sewer bill right now, but when they sell it, we'll get paid. So there's a couple, like I said, there's maybe 10 accounts like that, if that. So that's not a bad thing.
Can we file for an abatement on our indirects, because I think they used a lot of calculations and they're based on,
Well, that was my point of bringing that up. Will make the job easier of the treasurer collector, and we can address it in the indirects. Okay, dump truck. We got a letter from, we got a private email from somebody up in New Hampshire that had saw the dump truck on the bid platform and said that they couldn't bid what our ask was, but they made an offer, but I think we need to, we've tried twice with a reserve of, was it 12.5?
The last one was, yeah.
And nothing. So we need to move that thing along. What do we want to do?
I don't know, I just saw a clamshell one, you must have drove by it on North Street. That was an older truck than ours, and they're asking 21,000.
Will they get it?
I can tell you the
Yep.
comments on Municipal are that it's too high.
Mm-hmm.
The asking price is too high. And when I post it, if you're having a reserve of 12.5, the asking price has to be at least $5,000 higher, or Municipal won't let me post it. So the general comment has been that it's maybe $6,000 at that. So like the bids that have been coming in are around like 6.5 in that vicinity, but because it doesn't meet the reserve, Municipal won't accept it. So the post just expires.
Yeah. Well, for
So it's
6,000, I think it's
definitely
worth just leaving it in the garage and using it as a backup. How much can you get for scrap money for that? It's a heavy truck.
Yeah. So, I mean, do we want to try with a lower reserve, or what do we want to do?
Drop the reserve down as much as possible and just try for the next one, see if you can do it. You can get around $8,000 or $9,000.
Yeah, I'm fine with dropping the reserve some.
Okay, what do we want to set it at? I don't know, it seems to me that $12,000 for that truck is a deal, but it's only as good as what somebody's willing to pay.
Yeah, I think it's
So-
like 10. Up it to 10. See what happens.
10?
Yeah.
We want to put that in the form of a motion? Do we need to put that in the form of a yeah.
I would.
Somebody want to make that motion?
The motion, Mr. Chairman, to put the spare dump truck up for a bid again, reserve of 10,000.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
I'll send it over tomorrow.
All right, Superintendent's review. I was contacted a couple of weeks ago by council. I was talking to them about other things that later on in the budget, in the agenda. And they asked about the superintendent's review, if a PIP has been started. It's in the review, in the review paperwork about creating one. For the last 2 reviews, we have not, and that's on us. We should have done it, but the council is recommending that we get one going so that we have a measurable and attainable goals for the coming period. I know that is not something that I personally feel comfortable doing. But I did speak with the member who is not here today, Justin, and he said that he would do that if no one else was willing, but that he wants to be able to, he would need to be able to talk to, I believe it was mostly you, about making sure that things were balanced from our side, and working with George to get that generated.
I'm fine with that.
So, is anybody opposed to doing that?
Nope.
Of course, anything would come,
Should we make a motion?
please.
Make a motion, we have Justin to help Bob handle that for us.
Okay.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, 4-0, unanimous. Budget review. We don't have a budget in front of us. Oh, yes, we do. Okay.
Question is,
Oh, another eye chart.
I know. What is zero?
Okay, so we're still looking at that. Oh, shut-offs collected.
Yep. Just, I put it on there just so you
Oh,
had it.
okay, yeah. Boy, that does look,
It looks better in print. It looks
oh, it sure
impressive.
does. Committed, received, outstanding. Okay,
So we went from 194,000 to 10,000 outstanding?
Yep.
That looks much better to me.
so, yeah, and then, of course, we have the 90, the new 90 day. All right, of course, we're, new budget,
Yep.
0% expended. Look at that. Let's see if we can keep it that way, right?
Line 57, water main, Article 24.
Mm-hmm.
We're at 106. Did we have a change order? More to cover the overage?
Which one are you looking at?
The water capital projects, water main, Article 24, line number 57.
Trying to think what it is. I'm working with the assistant accountant right now, making sure that we're all, and I'm not sure if, I'm trying to remember what it was. There's something coming in still to handle that. I don't remember if it was a change order or if it's just the SRF funding is off or.
Yeah, I
Well-
mean, we just,
I'll look into it, because I'm working with her right now to make sure we're balancing the same, so I'll find out for sure.
just make sure there's nothing that had to be reclassed or
Yep.
anything. We just I don't know how we could deficit spend on an article that, if you only have that amount of funding, I think the only thing I know of that you can deficit spend on is snow and ice. That's not our project, so.
No, that's not our problem.
No.
So, I'm just curious how we could deficit spend on this project if we didn't have change orders. And if we had change orders, it should be calculated into the number so that
Right.
it's reflected.
The easiest. And these articles, are any of these, we've got some that's still carrying a bottom line that are old.
Yeah, something like the,
MTBE monitoring from '09.
yeah, and then line 50, the dump truck.
Yep.
You got 5,327. You're done with the dump truck, all purchased, everything's done, paid for, so can we get something, try to go through all these and work with the
Yep.
accountant or whatever to figure out
Absolutely.
what we can transfer to get it back to retained earnings.
Absolutely.
You know, on the sewer, that's a much smaller,
We just did the sewer one.
yeah, actually, that's right, we just did that. So these are all, none of these have any spending on them.
And some of these, we had a lot of borrowings on water. If we had things that were still hanging out there, we should, if we're gonna do another borrowing or another article, then I would suggest transferring all these to cover the, whatever portion to clear these out. We'll lessen
This is
the
sig-
load for some of those that we're paying indirect for.
There's some significant amounts of money there in some of those. Okay, any questions on the budgets?
See any areas that you're concerned about, George?
Sewer department right now I'm having little concerns about that, where we are with that, with upcoming activities that we're gonna need to do. I was hoping we get a little more retained earnings than that and jump it, but, it just keeps, we're just moving forward as fast as we can to get stuff done. I'm just gonna try to go as slow as I can.
So which line item are you looking at that
I'm
you're concerned about?
Well, capital right now, I got the roof project done through the last capital, last year. That was finishing that project up. So we're good with that. The only situation I'm worried about is, any equipment problems, things like that, or major purchases. I think we'll be all right now, but we're going headstrong on street work and stuff, and every time I get into that, I get into other issues, or fixing something. But I'll hold off right there and see how we do in the next couple months. See if we can pull off some stuff.
We don't have any option but to
Yeah.
pull it off of what we have, so.
So, yeah, we did tighten the budgets up quite a bit, so
You're gonna be,
it'll be a challenge to work with it.
I gotta work with the stuff I got right now, so it's just what it is, doing the
is
best.
that on the camera all set, right?
Everything is good there, so,
And hopefully we're getting some of the I&I under control, and
Yeah.
less maintenance on the pump station.
One thing I just want to bring up, even though we're just on this subject, I'm concerned about, I'm that, very concerned, but I am concerned about Patterson Ave Station, that injection system. If something goes catastrophically wrong there, we're looking at a $300,000+ revamp to put a new, like a new type of system in there. But I've already contacted some sources to see if I can get some replacement parts on some stuff that may cause us an issue, that don't commonly cause issues. So we at least have it in the shelf, so we can make repairs to it. And then down the line, we have to start looking at replacing that station, but that's down the line. Not right now, we can't do that, So, but everything's good on it now, it's running fine now.
It's in the asset,
Hmm. Again, I haven't pulled together all the numbers for the sewer one, but we're at 27 million for the water, so.
Okay, anything else in the budget? Okay, old business.
Where do we stand with Webster?
True up, as far as I understand it now, we're at a standstill. We've brought to them concerns about how their indirects are calculated. And our consultant has told me that he believes it might be a $20,000 difference. Their firm on their numbers, we've pushed as hard as we can. I don't know what more there is. They do want to set up some meeting dates. They want to get the true up done. Actually, didn't they send a, they want a,
Yeah, I sent it out to all of you.
a response after this meeting, shortly, about whether or not to go to arbitration. About that, I'd rather not. I'd rather get it dealt with, but we need to, I don't know how to get over that hurdle. So it's something we need to,
If they're stuck on their numbers and Paul's saying 20, somewhere in the middle, I would think.
and then, yeah. So,
I'm kind of concerned, Paul pointed out something on the indirects, and then the person that's doing their indirect numbers is the person that came over here, and we saw how that went. We had valid concerns and valid points to show where there should be offsets, and, the other side of the table said, oh, no, they're getting a lot for their money, and didn't even consider anything, so.
that's not on the consultant, though.
Well, it's the consultant should have said that, hey, this is a fair and equitable thing, here's the math, here's the numbers, this is what makes sense.
That's what he gave them, and they just said, sorry, we can't.
Yeah, so like I said, I don't think we should have even paid the half of the consultant if they weren't gonna use the information that the consultant came forward with. They wanted to pay a consultant to come in and tell them that they should get more money out of us, and when they didn't, and he said the other way, they said, oh, we're not gonna take your stuff and go with our numbers anyway. So, kinda seemed like a moot point, and just a waste of ratepayer and taxpayer money to pay a consultant to come in to do a study, give results, and then them say, oh, those are no good, because they don't go our way, so.
Yeah, I can't blame that on the consultant. He did his job.
Yeah. And you could have
but
pushed more and say,
The
look.
fact
these
that the
are-
selectmen, but yeah, that's a push we need to make. We need to get a meeting with them to discuss that. It's now August. We're gonna be into this again in about 4 months, 4 or 5 months.
Let's not wait 4 or 5 months,
no.
because they're gonna call us on it, and
So, we need to set something up with the selectmen to deal with that, but let's stick with the Webster for now, and then we can go, but we can circle back to that.
are they looking for dates to meet with us?
They are looking for dates to meet with us. They have spoken with another consulting firm to Wesson and Sampson to explore updating the IMA. Updating it, I have serious concerns about that. It's hard enough to read now, but yeah, simplifying it would certainly make it, to me, seems like a good plan, but I just want to make sure that we're doing the best thing we can for our users.
They can,
I just don't know that I would choose them as the firm that I would prefer to use on that type of work.
why we're not gonna, they can hire him if they want, and then we'll hire somebody and they'll have to hash it out. We're not gonna,
I think they were looking at, they wanted to hire a mutual consultant, but somehow that worked on that. We were just trying to do.
I would, yeah, they want to be able to meet in September to see if we can get something moving on that. We can certainly meet with them, whether we
well, I definitely.
whether we like what they're proposing or not. That's up to us to talk about.
Mr. Chairman, we should definitely meet with them as soon as possible, so we keep the line of communications open. We don't wanna go back to the way it is.
No, we don't.
Do we know what nights they were looking for?
Don't you usually meet with them on Thursdays?
Yeah.
We have met with them in the past on Thursday nights, yes. We've also met with them on Wednesday nights as well, but it can't be the second Wednesday. Right?
It can be this second Wednesday if you're gonna do it this month.
Well, that would be like next week. That
Yeah.
kind of tough to set up that quick, but true up and IMA. Send a letter off to them.
Do you want to give them some dates
20th
of
August?
August? That's a Wednesday?
That's 2 weeks.
Actually, no, please, because that would be when I would try to have engineering come in is on Wednesday, the 20th.
Okay.
You know, the engineering firms, if I can get in touch with them, I'd like them,
2 weeks.
I would either do 2 weeks or,
That's Wednesday though.
yeah, for
Okay.
us, yeah.
Unless we do the 21st. That's a Thursday, because we meet with them on Thursdays. 21st, 28th.
See, I can't do the 28th.
I can't do the 28th either.
Okay.
Actually, yes, I can. This month I can. Yeah, the only day coming up I can't do is the 22nd. That's a Friday anyways, nobody meets on Fridays.
Tuesday, can they meet on Tuesday? They can't meet on Tuesdays, right? They can't?
I don't know.
You got the 26th open?
I'm pretty open otherwise.
Are you on the 26th?
Should be already on the 26th.
And then you want to give me like 2 dates in September, just so I can throw at them too, please?
The 8th,
That's a Monday.
that's Wednesday,
No, it's
September,
Monday.
the 8th is Monday.
Oh,
It's
sorry,
Monday.
the wrong month. 10th and the 17th?
Well, the 10th is Bob.
Second, yeah, I can't do the 10th.
Bob can't do the second Wednesdays.
Oh, yeah. How about the?
17th, 18th, or 24th. That's a Wednesday, Thursday, Wednesday.
Yeah. I'm good the 11th too.
Yeah, so am I.
Are you on the 11th, Paul? Paul?
Well, that's fine.
Okay. I
So
will-
any one of those two Thursdays or 2 Wednesdays.
I will send it to them tomorrow morning
Okay,
and see what they get back.
Yeah.
so that would be the
Okay
11th,
with those?
18th,
Yeah.
17th, or 24th.
18th too.
11th, 17th, 18th, 24th.
Yep.
Yep,
29, 26. Perfect, I'll send that over.
perfect, that's a bunch of days. Okay. Okay. The Mill Street hydrant.
What's up with that?
I know there was some concern about the fact that it was buried in the concrete
Oh, yeah.
rather than being extended. At this, well, I don't
Well,
know.
hold on a minute. Right now, that may be a moot point, because Brian and I are working on getting ourselves a hydrant for pressure readings to go on the iPhones, one of those new radio system readers, because of all the pressure issues we've been having over there. And fortunately, that hydrant is the best spot for it. And it's localized to that area, and it's the oldest hydrant in that area, even though it's the best hydrant in the area. So that'd be the place to replace it. So we're planning on getting a crew out, reps out to show us this new system on this hydrant and how it can show us detailed information on pressure and leaks, if there's leaks in the area, or if there's a main break in there, we get an alert on the phone. We want to do that around town.
So that's an e-hydrant?
Yeah, yeah.
I-hydrant.
I couldn't remember the name, but we want to start that project there and then work our way into other parts of the town with a couple, not a lot, just a few, to give us ideas in our sensitive areas, like Mason Road, where we're going to keep getting little areas and some little pulses and things like that. I don't have all the information on it. We just got into it in the last couple of weeks. It's more expensive than an average hydrant, but it's worth it. It could save you a lot of
A couple
aggravation.
of those around town.
Yeah.
I know,
So that would
I
be
know
the spot
Brian's
for
been
it.
talking about that
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah, we've just been busy, things have been going on, but so that is in the works for that. Otherwise, you could put an adapter on it, a 12-inch riser on it, but I'd rather put the hydrant there, the new hydrant there, and make that a focal point. So that's the plan anyway.
I've got 4 of them. I add them whenever we do a project.
How many you got?
4.
You have 4 of them?
Yeah. Yeah, they work good. I can show you alarms I got today.
I'll call you about,
So
get
that's
some information on it.
Then you get the information real time,
Yeah.
right off the hydrant?
Yeah.
It goes to the iPhone, I guess,
I
right?
think there's an app you can just.
Yeah, that's what the guy was telling me, it goes to your phone and gives you an alert.
Actually, I think you do it through the internet, so
Yeah.
you can log in.
How much more do they cost?
I can't tell you, I'm just getting
Almost-
into it now.
It's almost double the cost of a hydrant. But you can retrofit them and change the guts out, depending on which hydrant, but I think you have the wrong, what do you have, the medallions?
Yeah, it could go on the, you can, we have the Eddies, and they can't adapt to
Can't do
Eddies,
it
so we
on
have to get
paper, you can do it
like
on
the
the
Kennedy's, the one we have there, we can get another Kennedy. Kennedy has the adaptation kit for that, or the kit for that,
Buy
but
the whole thing. yeah.
buy the whole thing.
Actually, I have a new one coming in tomorrow.
Hey, can I see it?
For the project, yeah.
I'll see what I
Go up and
want.
take a look at it. It's going into that project, we're doing Depot Street now, you saw that when you're driving by.
Oh, yeah, the one, yeah.
Yeah, we're putting that one right in front of the town hall, so. They work good, I think they scaled down on the number of reads they do, but the ones that I bought, they take 256 readings per second. So it reads the pressure and temperature, like I said, it takes a reading 256 times per second,
Per second or per minute?
per second.
Per second.
So if you have a spike, you can zoom in on it and pull up the per second data.
Okay, what power is that?
It's got a battery pack in it.
Like a meter. But
Yeah,
only-
they said the batteries were good for 5 years, but I think I only got 3 years out of it. So, but that might be because I'm set up for the 256 reads per second. So
Yeah,
if you scale
You
back on
scale
that, I
back
think
on that a little
the,
bit. Yeah,
I think the battery lasts a little
that
bit.
often, reading that often is probably.
That's why I said that was a ridiculous.
Probably a
amount of
kill,
time,
way overkill.
But,
If you got one reading a second, you're probably in good shape,
yeah, but anytime somebody gets on a hydrant in town, I pretty much know.
because the pressure changes.
Yeah, 'cause just when you open a hydrant, that quick rush of water going up and it stops inside the hydrant, it creates a little bit of a water hammer. And I mean, you can set your pressure zone, you know, your pressure differentials. It'll tell you like a high pressure, a low pressure for it to send an alarm, or a span. So if it sees a 10% differential or a 10 PSI differential, you can set an alarm.
Doesn't it have a blow-off valve too on it, a dump valve in case if the pressure hits in that thing, it'll dump.
The pressure isn't up where it is. It's in the shoe of the hydrant, so.
Okay. As long as it tells us. It's fine.
Okay,
Yeah, they work well. I catch the hydro seeders and all that all the time.
that should address that issue. I mean, at this point, I don't see jackhammering the sidewalk to lift it, but don't want to see it happen, like that. MPA testing? Is that-
So the DEP has put us just on 2 quarters, with one in the fall, one in the spring. And I think well eight's the main driver for that, only because we had a couple E. coli's way back in the day and a couple other coliforms and things like that. So it might have triggered it. So we do 3 at once test. We have to, if you guys don't understand about MPA, I mean Bob does, but what they look at is like Giardia, I can't pronounce it. Crispirinian particles, vegetation, debris, that kind of stuff. It's pretty intense testing. You got to make sure all the parameters are correct that you're doing, testing the water before you send it and all that stuff. We got one more coming up in the next couple weeks to do, and I think there may not be any more after that. They only come at the most twice a year, but they've been random. Sometimes you get them and sometimes you don't. So that's basically all.
Okay. Anything else for old business? All right, superintendent's report. That was sent out this morning. I read it in the office. But,
right now, I mean, you guys have read most of it, but right now, we're doing a lot with the engineers with this M36 audit. And I guess what's triggered that, and Bob can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the accountability of water. We've had a lot of breaks. We had a lot of water that we just can't account for no matter how much we try. Even getting Brian's brain onto it was not enough. So new people are coming into DEP now, and they're all coming in with their textbooks in their hand. And so they're all looking at it, just like the sewer operation manual thing, same basic thing. They're coming in, they want to review things, they want to have us present what we have for information so that they can start plugging in their numbers and what they think it should be. I don't care what they do, it's never right, it's never accurate, you can't get an accurate number, but we're giving a lot of information to the engineers so they can start preparing all that stuff sent to DEP. Sewer is basically still on track. They're doing their thing. We've had some issues with sick people and things like that, so we've been slowed up a little bit. But they're getting back into it to keep up with the grease problem. Water has been doing a lot with the meter stuff still. They did the shut-off stuff good. I'll commend them for that. They did a good job on that. Making some repairs around. Sewer has also helped us a little bit with cutting the lawns and things like that. So we've kept them pretty busy. So if you guys have any other questions, it's pretty straightforward stuff.
we responded and reported only one lead service line.
One,
That's an issue to them?
you
So we don't have lead?
It's
Good for
because,
us.
Well-
no, it's because you have one.
you have one,
Oh,
So because
we
you
have
have one and you don't know if you have others,
Oh.
yeah,
they have an issue with the method of
the method. So we can't do statistical and we can't do
pre,
whatever it is. We can't do that. So the lab, this is at the last minute that even the engineers and I got the information about it back. So the engineers are scrambling now to contact DEP, which has been hard enough to find out what qualifies us for the proper method that we need to show what we have. Nichols College, say for example, we thought there was a lead line up there, but it wasn't. They had dug it up and it was all plastic. So I gave them that information. Every information we do at dig, every information we go to house, I give them, the engineers, that information, so they have a ongoing record now. The more we do, the better off we're gonna be. I think the October 27th timeframe, there's another thing we have to do with that, so that we get some time, but it's just mounting, one after another, after another, after another, you know? Like Bob said, you know, we wish we could concentrate on what we need to do to fix our facilities, never mind all these crazy little things that we have to come up with now for reporting and this and that. It's doesn't really mean much, you know, it's just they want to know. That's all it boils down to, so. But that's what's been going on, a lot of that stuff. So,
Okay. Wasn't there a point of the process that we're supposed to start doing vacuum boring?
For Eagle Drive?
No, weren't they gonna start vacuuming?
for the lead service line.
Oh, that's not-
The lead service line.
I think that's,
I thought the next stage was to
that's like the 20, I think that's next October or something like that, that comes into play.
start vacuuming some of the services to see what's there.
Yeah, that's, so I had pushed for that on mine, and they denied it originally, and then I got them to let us do it on some of it, but, they originally weren't allowing that, they wanted you to do basement inspections, which doesn't make sense, because if you do the vacuuming, you can check your side and their side
Right.
at the curb stop, which makes more sense to me, but, so they were pushing against it, and I think that's what Jeff was saying, that they started to move towards allowing that for the next phase. But, yeah,
Okay.
I don't like anything to do with letting culverts in there. And to George's defense on the the M36 audit, the issue I have with it is that when they do that, the unaccounted for, they don't allow you to account, even though you can account for it because you know you've had leaks, and you can fairly accurately estimate how much water you lost in a leak. They don't allow you to use that in your unaccounted for. And we know that you've had a ton of breaks. So all those numbers that you lost water on, they don't allow you to count that towards your unaccounted for, which means you're never gonna get to your 10%. Because if you're over the 10%, that's what they look at. If you're continually over the 10% unaccounted for, it's what's gonna trigger that M36 audit.
That's right.
And I don't think you guys have ever been under 10%, but like I said, when you have all these breaks and they don't allow you to account for that, even though you can say, well, I'm accounting for it because I know what happened, we repaired it, we knew it was leaking for 2 weeks at this many gallons a minute or whatever. They just don't allow it for whatever reason. Some of their stuff doesn't make sense. I think I explained it before where I think I submitted on my report that, we use 40,000 gallons of water for the fire department, either training or putting out fires. And they came back and said, oh, we don't have a letter from the fire chief saying that they use that much, so we don't accept it. So they wouldn't let me use that number. So I'm like, well, what do I do when the fire chief won't give me a letter because he thinks I'm gonna bill him for the water? And they're like, oh, well, you can just use the industry standard, which is 1%. And I'm like, so I pumped 86 million gallons of water, so I can use 860,000 gallons
But you
by
can't
industry
use
standard,
40.
but you won't accept my 40,000.
Oh,
So like I said, sometimes it just doesn't make sense, the rationale behind it.
Okay, 860,000, there
That's
you go.
what their rule is.
There you
so.
go.
been that way forever. No beating it.
So unfortunately, you get
There's
roped
not
into
much
some of
sense
these
in
things.
common sense. Or sense isn't that common. Okay, anything else in the superintendent's report? I think those are the only ones, 11 and 12.
So just, you said you went to that meeting and, the plan was still there, holding off on the loop through the Gentex property?
Yes.
I think that it was said that there was a private line and, access or whatever.
The concern was that we'd be connecting, we'd have to get permission to connect to a private line, and we don't know what condition that line is
So, I mean,
in. And it would have to go through their test well field.
yeah, I mean, going through a test well field is, that's,
So put a new test well in, okay.
yeah, I mean, the engineers can look at where they're, get a map of their test wells and figure out where it is and go around it or relocate their test wells. Concerns about tying into a private line, they're one of the guilty parties, or allegedly.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure
guilty parties.
they'd work with us.
They would certainly be willing to improve the conditions.
It's an 8-inch ductile iron line. It's fairly new line, so it's nothing.
Yeah, so there's not concern about the condition of the
connection.
line. If it's a ductile iron line and it's new, or even if it's old, if it's ductal iron, it's not that old.
I think more of the issue is.
Cost, I know, we know what the
No,
cost
is getting the easements across the property.
What is the issue? First of all, because it's a utility and it's in the best interest of public health, they can't stop you from getting it.
Actually, we can, they've already said we can.
We already went through this.
We can, that came up during that meeting, that we can take a public easement,
Right, so that argument.
public utility easement without, we can,
Right.
they can't. We can take one without
I think
having
we
to
ought
go
to-
to town meeting because,
I think we ought to push for the loop.
okay, yes, all right, yep.
I mean, I'd prefer not to have it on the system if we're not gonna do it correctly.
And this, to a lesser extent, there was a little bit of push on looping Joseph Street, but that one I said, yeah, no, I mean, that makes no sense. I mean, you've got trucks there already. What's it cost to put that in? I mean, it's gotta be short money to put that loop through.
Yeah, like I said, if the engineering firm designing a water system is saying that you don't need to do those loops, then we definitely need to look at a new engineering firm.
Okay. And that was part of my concern with having a peer review. All right, there was just this morning I heard about a Eisenhower Drive. A resident of Eisenhower Drive has come in and approached the town to start the easement process.
Betterment process.
Betterment process.
Yeah,
Betterment process.
yeah. I got the notice on it in my email, and I've already contacted the guys who put the original bids out, including the electrician, for updated bids on that station, because they're looking for updated prices. You know, he doesn't think they changed so much, but I know electrical's way up, so I'm waiting on that.
Make sure everything is in there.
Everything's up.
You know,
Bring that thing up all the way to 100%.
Yep.
We've been trying to keep it down because of the bond, taking the bond money, but because the money was limited. But at this point, make sure that
We don't want
that
to
station will be 100. We don't next, a year later want to have to go down there and spend another $10,000 or $20,000 to fix something that didn't get done.
And I think
Sure.
you got that letter from DEP about all your pump stations and backup generators.
yeah.
So as you see, they're really pushing on the backup generators, so you gotta make
I
sure.
gave them the report that we got and all that, so, and some other things too, so.
So just
I
make
think
sure-
everybody's got
Make
what
sure
they-
the generators.
Make sure there's a generator put into it, a backup generator and pad and all.
Well, we have the plug-in, we can go for it. I hope that we can get a right to put something there right now. I mean, it's private, I don't know. I mean, after the fact, maybe, I don't know how to do that with.
Well, it would be-
No, but that's all part of the betterment.
Yeah.
If we're improving it to take ownership of it, these are the changes that need to
At
be
that-
made
at
to
that
bring it up
point-
to
At
standard.
that point, ownership of that piece of, that little chunk
Yeah.
will be the town.
Well, we'll have to look and see that person who owns that property, that that the generator's gonna have to take some of that out. I mean, but I'll talk to him or see what,
Yeah,
like the other one.
but, make sure that, we're not
The natural gas.
cutting off our own, cutting off, we aren't cutting ourselves off at the knees of this thing.
So when I did on,
Okay.
Lions Road, I asked. them
Public comment? Hearing none, board member comments.
Good.
Good.
I think you already made enough comments.
Okay. Nothing. Number 14, need somebody to make that motion.
I'm assuming that's motion to adjourn. I don't know what I do with
Right.
Motion to adjourn.
Executive session.
Into executive session.
Oh, into executive session. On Mass General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21. Number 3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation position of the public body. And the chair so declares, and not reconvene into public session.
Second that.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Roll call vote.
Tom Poignier, aye. Sean Bowe's aye.
Bob Sullivan, aye.
Scott Sikowski, aye.